All right, shalom, brothers. This is 12 previews. And what we're going to be delving into is seed lines. Where does the quote unquote so-called Caucasian or white man come from? And we got our good old friend here, Billy Graham. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure most of you brothers already know, Billy Graham was a quote-unquote pastor, and a very famous one at that. I just find it funny that, these guys, they speak so presumptuously without a care in the world, and the people that buy it. Like, look at what they got this man titled as, God's ambassador. Like the Most High done anointed this man himself. Like, oh boy. We're going to be delving into where did the so-called Caucasian man come from. As much as the Christian church, would like to lead people to believe race does not matter, that's just simply not true. It's not true in the eyes of the Most High. It was not true from the words of the Most High. It is not true from his only begotten Son. It is not true from his holy prophets. And it is not true from the beginning, even. Brothers, since the beginning, if you ever read the book of Genesis and so on and so forth, you would know that God has always, the Most High God, has always had a chosen line of people. There was people here when Adam was here, and Adam was the chosen line of people above all people on the face of the earth. And then in Adam, it got broken up. And in Adam, it translated into who? Abel. But Abel got killed. And Abel got replaced with who? Seth. And so the line trickled down to Seth. And then you had the big bullies. And then after that, Noah was picked out from among them. And he survived, who the Most High told him to survive. And he survived way in which how the Most High told him how to. And then through Noah, you had Japheth, then you had Ham, and you had Shem. And then things just move on from there on and thereforth. Why did the Bible give you all these genealogies in the beginning? This person begot this person begot. Because Israel was keeping track of its records through the Spirit of the Most High. Because Israel was about to go into a great diaspora in the last days, and they needed their records to get called back. But the nation of Israel was given the truth of how everything went down. Everybody else had a bastardized version of this quote-unquote history. Even in Genesis, the other nations, they also understood of Adam and Eve. They just understood them differently. Adam was Osiris in a lot of these cultures. Adam was Tammuz or Dumuzi. Adam was the god of death because he brought it into the world. Adam was the hidden god because when the Most High called for him, he hid. So on and so forth. All these nations had these understandings. They just had the bastardized understanding. The Most High revealed the truth to the nation of Israel because he wanted them to keep track of their records. And as they kept track of their records, even in the great diaspora, they would be called back. And again, this is all just prophecy and things of that nature. But the Most High definitely still do works through his chosen line of people, barring what the Christian church would like you to believe. Now, when we take a look at the so-called Caucasian, he is the spearhead, basically, of this Christian ideology that we see today. You know, he started it a long time ago with his idolatry and things of that nature. That's why you have a lot of these Christian pastors now getting all types of celebrities like Kanye and all this other shit to walk on stage with them. If you a real man of the Lord and you understand scripture, you would never walk in the same light as a celebrity, because all a celebrity is an idol. And if you can't see that as a pastor, why do we trust you? Understand that? But to better understand the role that the so-called Caucasian has to play in this society, you got to understand where they come from. And Mr. Billy Graham, and this is no shot at him. I'm just using him because I seen this picture, and this picture I remember seeing it a long time ago. It just always was funny to me how they just branded him God's ambassador. Also, that word God does not mean anything. When people say God this and God that, it doesn't mean anything. You ask somebody if they believe in God, you didn't ask them much. There's many gods. In Exodus, the 7th chapter, Moses was made a god unto Pharaoh. In Psalms, the 82nd chapter, in the 6th verse, the Most High tells us what? We are gods. But we would die like men. Meaning what? Meaning we are judges. Because the term God simply means authority or judge or power. He was telling us we are judges, but we would die like men because we would judge unrighteously and we would lead astray based on our own feelings and our own ways instead of based off the ways of the Most High. That's what he was conveying to the children of Israel, to our people back then. We are gods, but we have to judge righteously to live like gods. Meaning what? To live like the angels above, immortal. Conveying what? Conveying the kingdom of heaven, per se. As long as we teaching righteously, then we will be fulfilled and glorified on that day. But if not, then we would face damnation. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that we will be delving into where the so-called Caucasian come from. As far as the other races of people, I don't think we need to necessarily delve into them as much, because the so-called Caucasian was prophesied to be the ruling power. Now, a lot of Caucasians will say, well, shit, I have it rough out here, even more rough than some of these so-called black folk. That's not the point. You just wasted your whiteness. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But that's the point. You just wasted a lot of your power. Because, most of the leading powers in this quote-unquote nation are so-called white. You look at the quote-unquote figurehead, the president. He's white. The people above him, the congressmen, they're white. When you look at who the president works with as far as the League of Nations and all this other shit, all these people are so-called white or have quote-unquote white patrilineal lineages. Even the Chinese, who are also another ruling power, they are also so-called white. If you just trace back long enough, you will find that the so-called Chinese are so-called white. They didn't start off that way. But after conquering and, intermixing, that's how they became to be. They're not far off from, the house of the so-called white man. This has nothing to do with quote-unquote race wars and all this other shit. This has everything to do with truth. And we're going to be going into a multi-part series of why I say the things I say about the so-called white man and his origins and where he come from. But that's going to wrap up this preview video. Hopefully, we can get into the nitty-gritty and the truth of where the so-called white man comes from to understand his role and to understand why he has sustained his power so long in this society. Not only in this society, but in past societies. It's been a tug of war, really. Because don't get it twisted. We've had times of glory too, definitely. But the white man is definitely ruling in these last days, and it's for a reason. But that's going to wrap up this preview video. We're going to be delving into the so-called Caucasian and where he comes from. So shalom.